The secret of getting ahead is getting started. So let's get started now. Now in this video, we are going to talk about that how to write a function. I know if you know about it, if you are using Excel for quite some time, you know how to write a function, but still I believe that you will be getting something new in this video, right? So let's talk about how to write a function, because it's just like that. If you know how to write even a sum function, you can write any function. It's like if you know how to drive, you can drive anywhere in the world, right? So because underlying logics are same. So let's talk about that and let's understand how we can actually write a function, because there are two important logic that we need to understand. So let's head over to the laptop and let's see how we can do it. We need not to talk about the data as such. Let's talk about how to write a function. Here we have some values, as you can see in the amount column, and this we need to do a sum, right? Now we always start a function with an equal to symbol. You already know about it. Either we can start it with equal to, we can start it with plus, we can start it with asterisk. All those are fine, but always start it with equal to symbol because that's a neutral symbol, right? Okay, so let's start it with equals to, and now it's time to put in the name of the function. See, sometime it happens when you put a name of the function, you get a name error. I want to show you that. There we go. So I got a name error, right? You may have seen that before. You may have encountered that error before, right? Now this comes in because we are in so much hurry that we make a spelling mistake. We misspelled the part of the function, the name of the function. Now you remember, whenever you search something on Google, what happens? If you misspelled any part of it, it always show you, did you mean this, right? So this way it is showing us name question mark. How we can correct it? Now, when we search something on Google, we always start typing, whenever we start typing something, we get some suggestion from Google. And if we select it from those suggestions, it won't show us, did you mean? Similar way, we can simply say equal to and then S. Look at that. Now we are getting all the lists which are starting with S, but this list is quite huge. What do we need to do? We need to short it down. How? If I say SU, you can see we have the limited amount of functions which are available. Now I can simply select it from the list. If I still write SUU, what happened? The list disappeared. It means there is no such function in the name of SUU. We already know that we committed a mistake. So how to correct it? I'll just backspace it and I can write M. So I can see the function, and now what I can do, I need to press a key which is tab. Always remember that try to use the shortcut key as much as possible, because it's also very relevant when you are working somewhere. You have to deliver the project on time, or if you are a freelancer, such shortcuts help me a lot. They saves a lot of time. If I am getting paid for 1 hour of work, I complete the same in 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that, because of the shortcuts, the power of shortcuts, right? Okay, and that's how I can take few more projects in that particular time frame. So that's the way we can save time, smartly use Excel features and shortcuts. So we open up the function. Now the most important part that you see over here is this. This is what we call a syntax, right? We call it a syntax. In a syntax, as you can see, we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. All these are arguments. Now, every function in Excel has a syntax. Every syntax has different arguments. We can't learn them because we have over 200 functions in Excel. So what do we need to do is to understand only two common logics. And what are they? Look at that. In this syntax, you can see number 1 is an argument, right? And that is bold. Why that bold? That we need to understand. Now, that's bold because we are standing on that argument right now. That's an active argument. If you see, the moment I press comma, it will jump to the next argument. Now we are standing on second argument. Excel is telling us to fill in the second argument. Now, when do we use such logic? When we have a nested function or maybe a lengthier function, we tend to forget that where we are, right? So something which is bold is telling us that we are standing over here right now and we need to fill this argument right now. So this way we can take this approach, we can understand this logic. It's very useful, and sometimes it's also very relevant when you would like to audit the function, because I also get projects in which client has already tried himself. Now he already applied the function, but through this I'll be able to know that where he committed the mistake, and through this I solve his problem and I get paid for the same. So that's one very important trick you can use as a freelancer also, or in your job, or anywhere you are using Excel. Okay, now something which is bold, it means you are standing on that. Now the second most important logic, guys, here is, as you can see, number 1 is not in square brackets, right? If I press comma once again, you will notice that number 2 is in square bracket, number 3, number 4, number 5. I'll keep on pressing the comma, and now you will see that all the arguments except number 1 are in square brackets. What do we mean by that? Now, something which is in square bracket is an optional argument. Optional. If you want, you can leave it like that. Suppose if you want to prepare a cup of tea, for that, what all ingredients are mandatory? Tea leaves, water, right? But milk and sugar are what? These are optional argument. Similarly, in this case also, if you want to use a sum function in Excel, then apart from number 1, any other argument that you see is optional. The first argument is absolutely mandatory that you need to fill in, right? But the question comes in, guys, that if you want to do sum, in journal, forget about Excel, how many numbers are required at least? That is 2. Now, why Excel is asking only 1? What could be the reason? Because here number 1, it is not just a number, it's an argument. Remember, I've told you, and an argument can contain a range also, and a range can contain multiple cells. That's why only one argument is mandatory. So what do we need to do? I'll just do it over here as sum, tab, and simply if I select this range, I'm done. Because still I'm standing on number 1, which is bold, but I don't require any other arguments. Why do I need it? Because I've already selected all the values which I need to do the sum of. I can do it even if I have a millions of number. I will be using only number 1, only the first argument to get the values of, to get the sum of all the values, right? Now the question comes in is that when to use number 2 or 3 and so forth. How we can do it and when to use it is simply when the range is not continuous. For example, in this case, I want to do the sum of the amount column. I'll press comma, and I want to add the difference column along with it, right? So this way you can press comma, or in any case, if you say that you have to skip some values in between. For example, I want to select it, but I want to skip 250. So I'll simply press comma and I'll jump to the next range. Again, I'll press comma. That way I can do if you want to skip something over here. Then you need to use the rest of the arguments. Otherwise, one single argument can give you the entire result of millions of numbers. So I hope you got the idea that how we do it. And finally, at the end of it, we have to close down the parenthesis and then we have to press enter. Also, although it is not important, but when you talk about the nested function, it is very much important. So always make a habit of closing the bracket. So I'm going to hit enter and there we go. We got the sum, right? So this way we write a function. Always follow these steps and you will be getting the result always at all the time, right? Always follow. So I hope you enjoyed it. You got the idea that how we can do it. I also want to tell you one thing, guys. See, our mind, so when we talk about the next video, you may be thinking about switching over to the other websites or you want to surf because right now you're learning. So it's our mind is actually a very excellent server, but it's very, very pathetic, very terrible master. So do not give control to your mind, right? Always follow the heart. Always think about that you want to learn. So let's move on to the next video and I'll give you a very important information about Excel in the next video. So let's move on, right? Chalo, let's start.